like to actually just digress a little bit to explain to you a little bit about who I am and where I've come from and what has really allowed me to be able to create something like the Positive Prime platform, and why it's important and why it is just absolutely perfect for this day and age. As a young woman, I graduated from business school in Australia, and I had this belief that to really make it and to be incredible, I had to survive and then flourish in London and New York. And so off I set overseas to live and work. And it was really an incredibly fortuitous and, I think, spiritual journey, but I didn't know it at the time. I was incredibly lucky. I was in the right place at the right time with the right mentors, and I actually had the right kinds of opportunities that I seized, that I said yes to. And I'm not going to share any of this because I want to impress you, but impress upon you that I've had a really wild pathway to travel. There's been lots of ups and downs. But what actually is interesting with respect to why Positive Prime will work for you is because it's not only worked for me, it's worked for tens of thousands of our earliest members. The truth is that I left the consulting world after spending a really intense amount of time. I was ostensibly involved in leadership consulting, change management consulting, and mergers and acquisitions in the corporate world. And I did actually spend some time living and working in both North America and the United Kingdom and Europe. And I actually went to an Anthony Robbins Life Mastery University program in Geneva, and it began really a very interesting year of studying and deep dive. Anthony Robbins, or Tony Robbins as people know, he's full on, and so is his program, and I loved it. It actually helped me to develop my full potential as a change management consultant in the mergers and acquisitions field. But it also was the catalyst for me moving out of an organizational context, and I went back and studied and qualified as a sports therapist in the United Kingdom. It wasn't long before I ended up inventing what is now known as hot stone massage through something called lithos therapy. And I was one of the first people, this is a very long time ago, to actually create a DVD. Like, this isn't the original, remember when we used to put these in, and a little guidebook. And I trained thousands of massage therapists, beauty therapists, spa therapists all over the world. I set up distributorships in India and in Singapore and in New Zealand, and I could go on and on and on. The point is that I ended up with like 500 really elite health retreats, beauty salons, spas, massage clinics, natural therapy, functional medicine oriented types of environments as licensees or franchisees. It was a wild business to be in. I invested in a skincare and a teeth whitening product, and I also invested in all sorts of other weird and wild and wonderful products or services that I could deliver through the distribution model that I had really created. And what's interesting about this is that I was invited to Ananda in the Himalayas, or the Himalayas in the northern part of India, and it was just one of the most beautiful experiences of my entire life. And I went to train Ayurvedic doctors and therapists and so forth. But what happened there was that in a meditation, looking out over those majestic mountains, I realized how magnificent I am. And I hope that if you haven't already, one day very soon, you have this incredible experience where you realize just how extraordinary you are. And I realized that I had taken so much for granted in my life. And I had this incredible message really start to resonate inside my body. And it was that whatever we take for granted gets taken from us. And I was like, whoa, that's a really, really intense message to get. And what if it's true? And so I did a really huge amount of study into gratitude. This is well over 15 years ago. What transpired was that I ended up writing a beautiful gift book that I sold through all of those spas and salons and clinics and health retreats, and it was all about gratitude. And along came a very famous movie that we now all know, and maybe we've heard of, called The Secret. And I really didn't understand what the law of attraction was before then. But I'd been exposed to quantum physics through the movie What the Bleep Do We Know? That was actually a movie that was really a favorite of therapists in the spa industry. And in case you don't know, spa means salas per aqua in Latin, which actually means health through water. So, the spa environment was really about, you can imagine now, Turkish baths where you go and you lie on a heated marble slab in a sauna or steam room, and then you have manual manipulation of your muscles. And then of course there were the Roman baths thousands of years ago, or taking the waters, when you think about all of these mineral hot springs all over the world. And I could go on and on and on and on about the spa industry. But there are a couple of principles and practices, techniques and secrets I learned from my fellow therapists in the spa industry that are the reasons why positive prime sessions actually do work scientifically, and they have been proven. Because the formula I created was actually arising out of all of the insights that I had developed as I actually went on this journey of not only publishing a book and having it available for sale, but also becoming a best-selling author, and then being invited to speak over and over and over again in a vast variety of environments for all sorts of different kinds of reasons. And there is incredible scientific research done about gratitude. And I was like a nerd or a geek, and I consumed everything I could possibly ever put my hands on about the science and the psychology of gratitude. So it's interesting because I actually became really a world expert on gratitude. And I'm not saying that it hasn't been around as 5,000 years of practice from Hindus or Buddhists or these kinds of Eastern traditions, or these rituals that are about the kinds of healing practices we see throughout Asia and South America and through the Middle East and Africa. And I'm not saying that gratitude or, thankfulness or appreciation or the science of this is anything new to the Christians who have been counting their blessings, or indeed to Americans who for a very long time have had Thanksgiving, which is not a usual practice for a lot of us down under in Australia. But what's incredible is that even though I grew up as a Catholic and I had an incredible religious education, I didn't actually internalize this experience of deep and profound appreciation, true, sincere, genuine thankfulness for who I am, my skills, my gifts, my talents, for the world, for Mother Earth, for our environment, for each other, for the experiences that I had been gifted with on this journey called life. And so inside every single Positive Prime session, there is actually inbuilt gratitude exercises based on the science and the psychology of gratitude that actually helps us all to become a lot more cognizant in living and experiencing appreciation and thankfulness.